I've had a lot of coaches in the past go on to the NFL and coaching friends, and Coach Partridge this past year with Pittsburgh. How important is it to show like what your staff has been able to do, that they've stuck together for as long as they have, and you haven't had the attrition that other schools have had, and different things like that?
Well, first of all, I think Coach Partridge has earned the opportunity to be there. He's done a great job at Pitt. He and I were college teammates, and then have worked together at Drake and at Wisconsin, so I know how good a coach he is. He's had a lot of opportunities to leave there. I know raising his daughters in Pittsburgh was important to him. I think if you look at our staff, our continuity, just like him being at Pitt as long as he was, there's a lot of factors. One is the staff culture we have, which we're very proud of, the way these guys work together. There's a lot of experience and low ego, high output with this group. But the quality of life in Raleigh is big time, man. I mean, raising children in this city or grandchildren, whatever it may be, it's a great place to live. And so that helps, and then Boo's done a tremendous job, helping out in the resource areas for these coaches and for our recruiting staff, and all the things that make the coaches' jobs better is having great support around them. So, yeah, we're fortunate, to have such a good, experienced staff that's stuck together the way they have.
KC had such a big breakout season last year. Have you seen him take steps forward in the spring, and how can he be better even next year?
Yeah, I think, he understands the volume of the season now and how long it is and the grind and how to practice better. And, if you compared his practices in the spring a year ago to where he is now, more mature practice player, probably the biggest difference. Knows the offense, knows the expectations, so less thinking, which helps. It's not that you don't want players to think, you do, but you want to see them play fast. And so the less that's going on pre-snap in their heads, the better to free up their feet.
Coach, everyone's been speaking super highly of Brandon Cisse and going into his sophomore year.
Yeah.
What have you seen out of him so far?
Very mature, super athletic guy, but he plays really hard. So when you have a talented person that also works really, really hard, usually you have something pretty special. And I don't want to put him on a pedestal yet because he hasn't been a starter here except for our dime package. But we love the way he's coming in our program and the way he's stepped up, with Shy leaving, to fill a void over there, and excited about what he's doing, the way he's worked. I know talking to Thunder about his offseason, he felt like he would have been one of our MVPs of our offseason program. Had we had an award like that, he would have been one of the candidates.
I think we say this each spring. How important is it to add depth to the offensive line? And
Yeah.
this is kind of like this in August is just huge opportunities for the young linemen.
Every rep matters, when you're developing a player. And so these spring reps where you're not trying to get ready for a game, and it's really fundamentals. You can slow your install down when you need to, speed it up when you can. Building depth at every position. Like right now, particularly at center, we're trying to get more and more guys going in there. Robbie Martin's a true freshman that's in here getting reps now. Should be in high school still, but he's here already. And so that'll help him when we get to the fall, be a more ready player and all the reps that those guys get. And, if you can have a true 3 deep on the O-line, I don't know if I've ever had that. That's what you try to get to. A lot of times it's a pair and a spare in some cases where you're traveling 10 to 11, but you're really only playing 6 or 7. And so you'd love to be able to continue to build that depth up where you have a true 2 deep all the way across the board with a young group that you're bringing on.
Dave, with a player like Grayson McCall, when he first transferred here, obviously a lot of people were after him. Where's the balance between him selling himself to you, sitting across the desk from you, and you selling his school to him?
I think it depends on the player. In his case, 3-time player of the year in that league, he didn't have to sell himself to us. It was more about getting to know each other at that point, because we didn't recruit him in high school, but he was a North Carolina native coming from Charlotte. And so it's getting to know each other. Him getting to know me, getting to know our offensive coaches, getting to know the players that are on the team that are coming in, and just making sure that his last year he had the right fit. I think he compared us to 2 other schools, and he was diligent about it, wanted to make sure it was the right situation.
One of the things your collective has been able to do is incorporate other entities, like say McKee Homes with the ALS, Alzheimer's Association of North Carolina. When you see like that type of tie-in, and obviously that's a subject that almost anybody can relate to.
Yeah.
You know, how important is that?
Well, that's one of the things about this NIL, when the collectives are able to use the resources in the town in Raleigh and tie in, you know, different charitable things that allow the donations to then be, you know, charitable donations, and then build a life skill for these young players to give back to ALS or give back to Alzheimer's or give back to the special needs community. You know, I think you're really doing good things. You know, you're helping out, obviously, in the space with NIL. Our collective works really hard. The Key Homes is one example, but there's a lot of these business groups that have started helping us, and they're seeing the benefit of it, you know, with not only the players, maybe in a marketing space, but with how they can improve Raleigh, you know, and helping out in these special needs communities and all the different benefits that are out there.
Coach, they're moving early signing day up.
Yeah.
I just wondered if you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad that it's not at the same time or after when the portal opened, I guess. I think that was one thing we all wanted. There's some things that came along with it I don't really understand, like a dead period. You know, basically, the entire month of December, except for 1 week now, is dead. And so it makes it hard, you know, to recruit all these guys that you might be recruiting in the portal, and there's 1 week to bring them on campus, you know, and some of them are still in school, you know, going to class. It's going to be tough. I don't really understand that. I wish they would kind of separate the high school players and the portal players and maybe have different calendars in December for them, because we're signing the high school players now December 4th. We need the rest of the month for the transfer players, you know. If we can't go out on the road, which we can't, at least let us bring them here and bring them on campus so that we know who we want and they have a chance to actually go see 2 or 3 schools before they have to make decisions with mid-year transfer rules and everything. So there's positives in that it's away from the signing or the portal window for the high school kids. I think that's great. But for the college coaches, like now we got 4,000 to 5,000 kids in the portal and we got 1 weekend to bring them in. That makes no sense.
How does that affect in-home visits, say in November for your high school recruits? And then on the flip side, it's a nice problem to have, but some coaches are going to be playing for a conference tournament or conference title, and like, oh, by the way, there's signing day.
Well, we can't do home visits in November.
Yeah, I mean, would
So
that
we
be
don't
something
have
you'd want to change?
No.
No.
I mean, we're in the middle of our season. There's no way we could do that, and they're in the middle of theirs, you know. I mean, the benefit of December was being able to go into the homes of the kids, and now that's changed as well. And so it's just, you know, a lot of these decisions are being made without the impact of the entire calendar being looked at, in my opinion, or let's just fix this. You know, realize that that extends into a lot of things right there, you know. And had the signing date gone to June, like I think a lot of us thought it was going to, then the December thing wouldn't have been a problem anymore, you know. But it's just the way it is, and, you know, bend your knees, you get flexible, and you do the best you can.
Have you seen Jordan
When we
Waters
bring
settle
the
in?
players in. Last question, go ahead.
Have you seen Jordan Waters settle in?
Really good. Yeah, he's a easy guy to get along with, you know, personality-wise, works hard, really well coached at the previous school, so he comes in with not just the body and the skill set, but he understands this game. Those guys did a good job with him, and so he's been a easy study that way to pick up our system, and you can see how he's going to impact the run game immediately. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.